And so the toxic features of the standard American diet that cause obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and shortened life expectancy would not be averted by simply excluding animal-based foods. Rather, by reducing the intake of highly processed refined carbohydrates, deep fried foods, processed meats, and sweetened beverages that are ubiquitous in our culture. Again, the micronutrient deficiencies that are associated with a vegan or vegetarian diet are linked with neurologic dysfunction, musculoskeletal, also immunological issues, because of zinc deficiency and so forth. And so they recommend that vegans or vegetarians should supplement with B12, with niacin, with vitamin D, with creatine, with other nutrients that are going to be deficient in a vegan or vegetarian diet. And so I think that's important to recognize because these are linked with cognitive impairment, immunologic compromises. We also know that there's increased rates of bone fractures, sarcopenia, depression, and anxiety. And so the specific deficiencies that one should consider if they have a friend or decide to go on a vegan or vegetarian diet, they should supplement with vitamin B12, with zinc, with omega-3 fats, other minerals like selenium, like iodine, and also probably supplement with protein because there's going to be a deficiency in protein like we've talked about. And I think it's important to recognize the incidence of psychiatric diagnosis among 4,181 adults. If you look here in green, and this is for depressive disorders, you see about 35% of people who in this particular data set were diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder. 35% of them identify as vegan. About 27% identify as semi-vegetarian. In contrast, only 21% identify as non-vegetarian. So there's about a 15% swing in the prevalence of major depression. Now, if you look here at anxiety, that disparity is even greater. You have about 35% of people who are diagnosed with anxiety report that they are vegetarian or vegan. In contrast to omnivores individuals, people eating animal products. It could be processed meat and the like, but it's only about 13%. So that's almost a 20-point swing in the prevalence of anxiety. And we know that mental health issues are on the rise. We have mass shootings, right? We have people committing suicide, overdosing from drugs, reporting that they just don't feel well. There's fights all the time. There's viral videos of people fighting in the streets and at schools. I mean, this is like ubiquitous in our culture. I think it's important that we start to look at the micronutrient deficiencies, not only in just vegan diets, but also, the standard American diet, because we know that is not healthy as well. And if you look here, the co-occurrence of eating disorders in vegans or vegetarians is much higher compared to non-vegetarians. So that's important to recognize. So we should be looking at eating nose to tail. The micronutrients found in liver and organ meats have collagen and peptides and other micronutrients that are so important for skin, hair health, also eye health, really important. And so it is important to recognize that people who avoid meat have challenges in these departments.